Hello everybody, welcome to Connecting the Dots with Chewy, where we explore the paranormal, the unexplained, and the forbidden. For years, the world heard whispers, private jets, hidden meetings, powerful names, a billionaire surrounded by mystery and protected by silence. Then the files came. Court documents, flight logs, testimonies, sealed records, pieces of stories so disturbing it shocked the governments, celebrities, and billionaires alike. Tonight we're diving into one of the darkest collections of leaked communications in recent history, the emails connected to Jeffrey Epstein network. Not conspiracy theories, not internet rumors, real names, real messages, real connections between millionaires, politicians, celebrities, academics, and one of the most notorious predators in modern history. Some of these emails are cold, some of these are bizarre, and some are deeply disturbing once you understand the context behind them. For years, Gates was known as the billionaire tech genius who built Microsoft and later reinvented himself. In the recent years, questions started growing about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The emails and reports surrounding their connection sparked massive public interest because the relationship itself raised uncomfortable questions. Let's get into 3 emails between Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. Email number 1. Friday, March 3rd, 2017. This email was between Bill Gates and other associates of Epstein. Bill, Larry and I have been working on deliverables for my time at BGC3. Since you and I spoke at Larry's request, I have spoken with Roger, Mark, Chris, Trevor, Geoff, and Bose and Jonah. Everyone has offered guidance, advice, thoughts, and ideas. As Larry works to put together any required documentation, we are trying to make this time valuable for all. 2 areas where I'm interested in terms of domestic health and neurotech brain science. I propose these as deliverables. Please let Larry and I know what you think. Deliverables. Number 1. To improve access and secure personal health data and or recommendations for zero-knowledge proof-based digital systems to secure private personal health information while allowing access to digitally redacted personal information. Number 2. White paper on consumer health expenditures in the U.S. Number 3. White paper and or recommendations on neurotechnologies related to chronic and degenerative diseases. Number 4. White paper on neurotechnologies as weapons in national intelligence and defense. Number 5. Follow-up recommendations and or technical applications for strain pandemic simulation. Happy to do whatever else is helpful or adapt along the way. Thanks for the opportunity. Hope this weekend is off to a good start. This email is very interesting. This email was sent in 2017. 3 years later, we got the outbreak of COVID. So it raises some questions. Is it planned? Was the world used as guinea pigs? COVID began with an outbreak of pneumonia cases in Wuhan, China in December 2019. An accidental breakout from a lab. The World Health Organization, WHO, declared the outbreak a public health emergency on January 30th, 2020. The pandemic on March 11th, 2020. The next step from there was the vaccines. The vaccines are the mRNA vaccines, Pfizer, BioNTech, Moderna, and protein subunit vaccines like Novavax that the CDC says now you should get them annually. There has been a lot of PMD people talking about the dangers of the vaccines. Again, I'm not here to make you an anti-vaxxer, but I will give you the statistics. COVID shots have been proven to increase your risk of several major cancers. Breast cancer is up by 54%, colon cancer is up by 35%, prostate cancer is up by 69%, bladder cancer is up by 62%, stomach cancer is up by 34%, lung cancer is up by 53%, and thyroid cancer is up by 35%. And if you don't believe me saying these things, here's the government hearing about the FDA covering 25 red flag issues about the COVID shot.
Here's the sheet. These are the adverse events that they were showing a safety signal for using the new method. Bell's palsy, sinus rhythm, cardiac failure, chronic, acute left ventricular failure, agonal rhythm, which is severe arrhythmia generally occurred at the end of life, pulmonary infarction, cerebral artery occlusion, aortic stenosis, sudden cardiac death, hypertensive emergency, basal ganglia stroke. Now, these aren't minor. Remember, we're always told, adverse events are rare and minor. These are not minor adverse events. And these safety signals were showing, and they were strong, but they were being hidden because FDA officials refused to acknowledge that the current system they were using was invalidated. And they had to look at the new system that unmasked these things. Our report goes on to detail how federal officials refused to acknowledge these revelations or take action to warn the public. Instead, senior FDA officials repeatedly tried to stop Dr. Scharfman from continuing her work or communicating her findings outside of FDA. In September 2021, Dr. Marks informed Dr. Patricia Cavazzoni, the then director of CEDAR, that Dr. Scharfman, who was a CEDAR employee, quote, has been asked to cease and desist conducting her data analysis. Dr. Marks complained that Dr. Scharfman's work had become, quote, a major distraction, that her efforts could create erroneous conflicts that feed to anti-vaccination rhetoric.
I'm speechless. It's interesting how they just play with people's lives, honestly. The next email is shocking, but I'm not surprised. This is an email interaction between Jeffrey Epstein and the receiver is not known. Cool, I'm excited. Also, I've been thinking a lot about the question that you have asked Bill Gates. How do we get rid of poor people as a whole? And I have an answer. Comment regarding that for you. When can I call you today to discuss this? In all honesty, I'm not surprised. I will be showing you videos where Bill Gates himself has talked about depopulation with vaccines and pandemics. He even gave a TED talk about this a few weeks after these emails were sent.
In this year's annual letter, Melinda and I take the toughest questions we get asked and give our answers. One that's come up for a long time is, as we make the world healthier, is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. But there we see an increase of about 1.3.
I set very ambitious goals because I'm quite optimistic. If you look at, say, the 20 diseases that our global health program goes after, I'd hope that within 15 years, over half of those, we could have had a very dramatic impact. You know, huge change in the mortality rates in developing countries, which then has this effect of reducing population growth. That's this big benefit that then makes everything like education and nutrition a lot easier. So
both inventing new vaccines and making sure they get out to all the children who need them. We could cut the number of children who die every year from about 9 million to half of that if we have success on it. And the benefits there in terms of reducing sickness, reducing the population growth, it really allows a society a chance to take care of itself once you've made that intervention. And the benefits there in terms of reducing sickness, reducing the population growth,
I mean, will we still need humans?
Not for most things. We'll decide.
In my opinion, these elites have always wanted us gone. From Planned Parenthood in lower socioeconomic neighborhoods, alcohol and drugs flooded in the ghettos, and racism for division. Here's some more proof on that.
And the media promotes the My Body, My Choice, which is actually still a promotion for Planned Parenthood. 50% of Black deaths a year is actually abortion. It's not the cop with the knee. It's not Black on Black violence and gang violence. It's not heart attacks. It's actually abortion. The most.
Health and insurance drug companies come into play also. Over half of the US physicians receive payments for incentives from pharmaceutical and medical device companies, totaling roughly about $2 billion to $3 billion annually. These incentives include meals, consulting fees, travel, research grants, which studies show can influence prescribing habits. These payments are publicly researchable via CMS Open Payment Database. About 50% of physicians receive payments from drug and device companies between 2013 and 2022. Major health insurance lawsuits in 2025-2026 focus on claim denials, fraudulent Medicare Advantage billing, and price fixing. Key litigation involves Cigna, Humana, United Healthcare over wrongful denials, while federal cases target major insurers for improper kickbacks. How many people get kicked out of coverage with cancer and diseases that cost thousands to treat, but they are left to die, and it's truly sad. Some people are so desperate that they will resort to what Luigi Mangione is accused of: the killing of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. It was wrong, but some people feel so defeated with these greedy companies. Now let's get into the third email between Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. To Jeffrey Epstein, forwarded. This was sent Friday 20th March 2015. Please find attached a draft agenda for the meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. Let's discuss next steps. For example, how to officially involve the WHO and ICRC. Best regards, I hope we can pull this off. CDC, WHO, and ICR were used, but also the missing link is Dr. Fauci. Now, Dr. Fauci did warn of a surprise outbreak back in 2017.
But also there will be a surprise outbreak. But also there will be a surprise outbreak. But also there will be a surprise outbreak. And I hope by the end of my relatively short presentation, you will understand why history, the history of the last 32 years that I've been the director of NIAID, will tell the next administration that there's no doubt in anyone's mind that they will be faced with the challenges that.
So in the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, we'll solve all those problems.
You say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when. You know, the risk per year, 2%, 3%.
The next pandemic, and there will be one. There will absolutely be an outbreak of another pandemic.
Dr. Fauci did not get indicted, but his former top advisor, David Morens, was federally indicted by the DOJ for obstructing justice and conspiring to hide records regarding COVID-19 origins. I think his advisor, David Morens, was the scapegoat for Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci still walks free like nothing happened. Fauci himself remains the subject of state-level investigations past Freedom of the Act, FOIA, lawsuits. But let's be truthful here, we know nothing is going to happen. Several citizens and organizations attempted to sue the WHO, alleging negligence for its handling of early stages of coronavirus. However, the court ruled that the organization's immunity protected it from these lawsuits. They are immune to getting in trouble. That tells you anything you need to know. No accountability at all. Another interesting fact, in 2019, 1 year before the pandemic, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation invested in BioNTech, an investment that skyrocketed after the vaccine came out. Israel was also the only country where fertility rates didn't drop. Netanyahu keeps a COVID syringe as a trophy in his office. Wrapping up here, one last thing. Allegedly, from the leaked data from the NIH, Dr. Fauci and his team made over $700 million in royalties from COVID-related drugs. Leaked data and emails also exposed how they found a way around the Freedom of Information Act. Very interesting. Everything I've said and everything I've talked about is alleged, even though it has some facts. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty, right? But then again, hidden emails, hidden agendas, hidden data, and the words spoken from their mouths show what could be true. But I'm not saying you should be against vaccines or any medical advice. I'm not a medical professional. I just bring stories and connect the dots. Thank you, everybody. This was Connecting the Dots with Chewy, where we explore the paranormal, the unexplained, and the forbidden.